Welcome to this critical analysis of the life and death decisions that can arise during air travel. In today's video, we will examine the incident involving Singapore Airlines Flight 321, a flight that narrowly avoided disaster. Through a detailed exploration of the sequence of events, from severe turbulence to the emergency landing, we will highlight the key factors and quick actions that played a decisive role in ensuring the safety of everyone on board. Understanding these elements is essential, as they can mean the difference between life and death in similar situations. Without further ado, let's begin. May 2024, London Heathrow Airport. As the sun sets over Heathrow, Singapore Airlines Flight 321 is stationed at the gate, where it is being loaded with food, cargo, and 229 passengers for the overnight journey to Singapore. At this moment, neither the passengers nor the crew anticipated the events that would unfold during the flight. Operated using a Boeing 777-300ER, registered as Sierra Quebec Sierra Whiskey. Mike, this long-range, wide-body twin-engine jet features GE90 engines, known for their high thrust and fuel efficiency. Delivered in 2008, the aircraft is equipped with advanced avionics systems, including the latest flight management systems, FMS, and autopilot capabilities. The cabin is configured to accommodate up to 368 passengers, offering both economy and business class seating. As the sun sets over London Heathrow, Singapore Airlines Flight 321 prepares for its journey. The aircraft, a Boeing 777-300ER, begins its pushback from the gate, maneuvering slowly away from the terminal. Ground crew ensure all systems are in place as the plane rolls towards the runway. With engines powering up and the plane taxiing to its designated takeoff position, the crew performs final checks.
knots.
As the aircraft reaches the end of the runway, it accelerates rapidly, lifting off from London and ascending into the evening sky, embarking on its overnight flight to Singapore.
Positive rate.
After Singapore Airlines Flight 321 takes off from London Heathrow, the pilots smoothly transition the aircraft onto its flight path towards Singapore. They initiate a gradual climb to the cruising altitude of 37,000 feet, navigating the plane through the evening sky. As the aircraft reaches its cruising altitude, the cabin crew begins to attend to the passengers. In the cabin, the atmosphere becomes calm and relaxed. Some passengers settle into their seats to rest, taking advantage of the quiet hours of the night to sleep. Others remain awake, enjoying a light meal or refreshments offered by the cabin crew. Many take this opportunity to watch movies or television shows on the in-flight entertainment system, engrossed in their chosen films. While talking about videos and films, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it would mean a lot to me. If everyone watching this video subscribed right now, you would certainly make my day. For the next few hours, the flight proceeded smoothly and uneventfully, with the aircraft cruising steadily through the night. The hum of the engines provided a gentle backdrop as passengers either slept soundly or enjoyed the entertainment provided on board. As the flight crossed over the vast landscapes of the Middle East and approached the Indian subcontinent, the sky outside began to lighten. As the sun rose over India, casting a warm glow across the cabin, passengers who had fallen asleep gradually began to wake up. The soft light filtering through the windows gently roused those still resting, while others, already awake, admired the serene view of the sunrise from 37,000 feet above. The cabin crew, sensing the gradual awakening of the passengers, prepared to serve breakfast, ensuring everyone was refreshed and ready for the final leg of their journey to Singapore. The flight continued smoothly, leaving India behind as Singapore Airlines Flight 321 cruised over the Bay of Bengal. Passengers settled back into their routines, with some enjoying the view outside while others rested or watched in-flight entertainment. The cabin was calm and the crew continued their rounds, ensuring everyone was comfortable. However, without warning, the plane lurched violently. The serene atmosphere shattered as the aircraft dipped and shook, sending a wave of panic through the cabin. Passengers who had been dozing off were jolted awake, some gripping their armrests in fear, while others scrambled to secure loose items that had been tossed around by the sudden movement. Drinks spilled, trays slid off tables, and the overhead bins rattled as the turbulence hit hard. The cabin crew, well trained for such events, quickly secured themselves and reassured passengers to remain seated and keep their seatbelts fastened. In the cockpit, the pilots felt the sudden jolt just as intensely. Instinctively, they tightened their grip on the controls, working swiftly to stabilize the aircraft. They monitored the plane's instruments closely, adjusting the flight controls to counter the sudden turbulence. After a tense few minutes, the turbulence eased, and the plane returned to a steadier flight. The passengers began to relax, though many remained on edge, shaken by the unexpected event. What they had just experienced was clear air turbulence, an invisible and unpredictable phenomenon caused by sudden changes in wind speed and direction at high altitudes. After assessing the situation and realizing the severity of the injuries sustained by some passengers, the pilots swiftly contacted Air Traffic Control, ATC, to coordinate an emergency diversion to Bangkok Suvarnabhumi Airport. They provided details of the turbulence encounter, the injuries on board, and their intention to land in Bangkok for immediate medical assistance. At the same time, the pilots issued a warning to other aircraft in the vicinity, alerting them to the severe clear air turbulence they had experienced over the Bay of Bengal. They advised other pilots to avoid the affected airspace, stressing the potential danger it posed. The communication with ATC and nearby aircraft was clear and precise, ensuring that both the safety of their own passengers and that of other flights in the region was maintained. With the diversion plan in place, the pilots carefully adjusted the flight path toward Bangkok, while the cabin crew prepared the passengers for the unscheduled landing. The aircraft began its descent, and the focus shifted to safely reaching the airport, where emergency medical teams were already being mobilized for the injured passengers. At 3:45 p.m., the flight touched down in Bangkok, and the pilots immediately applied the brakes with precision. After a tense few seconds, the aircraft came to a firm and final stop. After the plane came to a stop, it taxied slowly to the gate at Bangkok Suvarnabhumi Airport. Medical teams were already on standby, prepared to assist the injured passengers. Despite the swift actions of the pilots and crew, the aftermath of the turbulence was devastating. A total of 104 passengers had sustained injuries, ranging from minor to severe. Tragically, one passenger, a 74-year-old British man, suffered a heart attack during the turbulence and was later pronounced dead. The crew and medical personnel worked diligently to provide care, but the loss cast a somber shadow over the emergency landing. The following day, passengers who were uninjured during the turbulence were flown back to Singapore on another Singapore Airlines flight, while those who were injured, along with their relatives, remained in Bangkok. In the wake of the tragedy, Singapore Airlines CEO Goh Choon Phong expressed deep sadness for the deceased and those who had suffered injuries.
To the family and loved ones of the deceased, first apologies to everyone affected by this incident. Please be assured that Singapore Airlines is here to help and support you during this difficult time.
This incident reinforced the airline's commitment to safety, which has consistently earned it a reputation as one of the world's safest carriers. In response, Singapore Airlines immediately revised its safety procedures. Hot beverage and meal services would now be suspended whenever the seatbelt sign was on, and the practice of securing all loose items during poor weather would continue. To support those affected, Singapore Airlines also provided $25,000 in compensation to those who were critically injured. However, this was not the end of the story. Less than a week later, a Qatar Airways 787 en route to Dublin encountered clear air turbulence over Turkey, resulting in injuries to 11 passengers. In the following months, similar incidents continued to occur with increasing frequency. Clear air turbulence, an invisible and unpredictable hazard, is becoming more common as a result of climate change. The shifting patterns in atmospheric circulation, driven by rising global temperatures, are intensifying wind speeds and creating more turbulent conditions at high altitudes, making such events increasingly frequent and dangerous for air travel. However, you shouldn't be afraid of flying. Despite these incidents, it's important to remember that air travel remains incredibly safe. Out of all these recent turbulence encounters, only one passenger tragically lost their life on Singapore Airlines Flight 321, and there were no fatalities on any of the other flights. In fact, in the year 2023, only 73 people died in aviation-related incidents out of the 150 million who traveled that year. This means the chances of dying on a plane are about 1 in 11 million. To put that in perspective, you are far more likely to die in a car accident, choke on food, perish in a house fire, or even fall out of your own bed. Now, some people might say, oh yeah, but there's still a chance. Well, here are some ways to stay safe on a plane that could help you avoid getting injured, like those on SQ321, as this thumbnail is all about. First, try not to leave your seat unless absolutely necessary, and always fasten your seatbelt when seated, even if the seatbelt sign is off. This simple habit can protect you from unexpected turbulence. Next, consider wearing fire-resistant clothing when you fly. While it's a rare occurrence, being prepared for any situation is wise. Additionally, if safety is your top priority, sitting at the back of the plane in economy class is generally safer during an emergency. Avoid sitting in premium cabins as they are located at the front of the aircraft, which can be more vulnerable in certain situations. However, trust me, it's still perfectly fine to sit at the front if you prefer. It's just a matter of personal comfort and preference. In conclusion, while air travel comes with its risks, it remains one of the safest modes of transportation. Understanding the factors at play, like clear air turbulence and taking simple precautions, can further enhance your safety in the skies. Remember, aviation incidents are incredibly rare, and by following a few guidelines, you can minimize the chance of injury even further. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed about how to make your flights as safe and comfortable as possible.